Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hearthstone. So we need to play 3 more cards that cost 5 or more and win 2 more games, and I think we can pull that off. We're going to stick with my Death Rattle deck because it has Starlug and Fugan in it, and because of that, that means I know there's at least a couple extra expensive cards in the collection. Here. Let's talk about Hearthstone. I suppose we can cover that right now. So, Hearthstone has announced that they are doing something that I kind of saw coming. I think most people kind of saw coming, and I think is the right decision. They have said that in this next year, this 2017, which right now I'm recording, we're in February, so I wouldn't be surprised if in the next month for me there is a new expansion, because they said there's going to be 3 new expansions for 2017. The Year of the Mammoth, it's going to be called. We're playing the Year of the Kraken. That's what they were calling this year. And in it, there will be 3 expansions. Each expansion will add 130 cards. Now, sadly, I should have done the research and seen how many cards were added in Goblins versus, not Goblins versus Gnomes, but Mean Streets of Gadgetstan, the latest expansion. It may have been a little bit more than 130. It may not have been. So that's one of those things that's just, I should have done research and I didn't, so I apologize. But 130 cards in general sounds like a good deal to me. The way that works, if I buy 50 packs and there's 5 cards in each pack, which I assume that's not changing. I think people would be very upset if you started only getting 4 cards per pack. 5 cards times 50 is 250 cards. If I'm trying to get 130, that's almost 2 of everyone. If I was ever so lucky as to get only the cards I needed and not a bunch of duplicates, which almost certainly you get a bunch of duplicates. But it probably will get me somewhere between a third, 2/3 to half of the entire collection just by opening 50 packs. And then you might have diminishing returns as far as how many legendary cards are in that collection, because it if it really does potentially take up to 50 more cards to get 1 more legendary, there would be a lot of extra duplicates happening there. But maybe I'm not sure exactly how it works. They are going to get rid of Ragnaros and 1 other card, make those wild. I think 3 cards in particular, and change or nerf a couple others. So they're coming out and making the making the statements on what they're going to charge. Charge and change. Charge, I assume it's the same price. But they're committing to it. And the big thing is they're not doing any adventures this year at all. And frankly, I think that's probably going to be the end of the adventures in total. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually hide the adventures button and replace it with a mega tavern that happens every week, because the richer famous YouTubers who did that probably loved that, if I was to guess, even though I totally didn't get my monies back and suffered rather greatly from it. Let's see.
You die now.
Here we go.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that gets changed to a mega tavern, or if maybe there's a wild arena and standard arena change that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if the button gets hidden or moved. It would really kind of suck and be a ripoff and unfair if they took the adventures away, because theoretically, not me, I wasn't dumb enough to put any real money in it, but other people put real money into the game, and putting money into a game and then removing that element that you put money to purchase seems not even in line with Blizzard. I don't think if you bought some special thing in World of Warcraft 10 years ago, that they would take that out. For you, at least. They may stop other people from purchasing the same thing, but I think
Here we go.
it would only be fair for them to allow you to continue to play the things you already own.
Already attacked.
That also might be a great reason to rage quit Hearthstone too, if that was the case. It's just, well, I bought all these adventures, and the adventure cards are already banned in standard play, and now I can't even play the challenges. That I would certainly understand people being upset about that.
Here we go.
Almost out of time.
We'll see how he responds to this.
Too soon.
Let's see. This, and this. Victory. Next story. Payday 3 is in development, according to the Payday 3 creators. Let's just stick with this Death Rattle deck. It seems to be working rather well. And we have a 12-to-8 win ratio going on, so we're actually increasing our win ratio right now to higher than what it was. Maybe I should play some ranked. Honestly. Yeah. I guess that'll be our next goal, is we'll get our victory and get our quest done, and then we'll play some ranked. So there's some dark history I know with Payday 2, where they were supposed to, they said they were going to take out a bunch of like fee to pay elements, I think, where you bought the game and then you had to pay more to get elements that were helpful and needed. So, yeah. It's a game that, much like the Bard's Tale, as a game that I want to cover just for the historicalness of this and maybe do some deeper research on it. I haven't played any of the Payday games. The idea in general sounds like it's an intriguing one. Work with a team to rob banks and get as much money as possible, and the bank robberies can go bad. The idea is interesting. Can I play it in single player? That is a question. Because if I can't, then it's out completely. But I guess it's good news. It's good news to hear when a game is actually coming out, versus maybe Half-Life 3 will come out, maybe it won't. Seriously, on that element, if I was talking directly to Gabe Newell, I'd say, look, you just gotta be a mean boss and say, if anybody leaks any information about any games that could or that are not in development for our company, that is a fireable offense. Specifically, if anybody says the words Half-Life 3, Portal 3, Left 4 Dead 3, anything with a 3, Counter-Strike Go 2, if that was something. Anything leaking like that, it should just be a fireable offense. And you should probably fire one or two people if they are going to actually test them on it, just for being insubordinate. Until, just by making that the rule, frankly, that makes it so easy for every single employee who's asked anything about that thing. It's actually a fireable offense to talk about any games that might be in development or aren't in development. Just give them that phrase to repeat, instead of we are at this time not discussing what the game, any games, any new games in development. It's like, just make it a huge story. I would send out a press release, as Gabe Newell is like, Gabe Newell, we've instituted a company-wide policy where it is a fireable offense to discuss any games that may or may not be in development. And then you can always say, we have an advertising department. It is their job to make announcements. All official announcements will come through the advertising department, who work hard at their job, and it is unfair to that advertising department to make their jobs more difficult by allowing employees who are not authorized to speak on our behalf to make spurious claims. Draw cards until you have one that isn't a dragon. Let's see, what do I want to do here?
I wonder.
Let's do this.
The Earth Mother is near.
This. This. And but yeah, that's what I would do, just as a side note. Moving on to the next thing, Steam Direct fee backers have shown up. This is kind of a headline I made up myself. Instead of usually I just copy the headlines or rephrase the headlines of other things. 2 people have already showed up for offering to help small developers pay whatever the Steam Direct fee is. A Fig has set up aside $500,000 already to say to help any Fig games that are funded get on Steam Direct. I listened to a 2-hour roundtable conversation with Total Biscuit talking to several different people about Steam Direct. Apparently one of them had done a poll amongst actual video game producers, and some of them want the fee to be even as high as $20,000, which frankly it might be the right amount of money. I think really the what it comes down to is no amount is the right amount, and the backers have said that. I'm not sure what the other site was that said that they would help fund it, but in similar ways it was another site that would help things. There's literally no fee on Steam Direct that's big enough to completely get around people starting Kickstarters. $20,000 for a Kickstarter is nothing, particularly since you could probably rely on Kickstarter saying, I have the game completely done when they haven't spent anything on it. Ideally, let's say that the Steam Direct fee was $20,000, which is way more than the $5,000 that they were thinking about. Let's say that's that. Ideally, all you'd have to do is have some scammer go on Kickstarter, say, I have a completely finished game, I just need that, I need that $5,000, I need that $20,000 to pay that fee. And people would totally be willing to give them money. And by getting that money, they could just take it and run. $5,000 easily. Even if the fee is only $100, same as Steam Greenlight. Probably not that many people would fund a Kickstarter for $100, but maybe. Maybe you'd get way more than $100. Maybe you'd get $1,000 for the $100 Steam Direct fee, and then maybe they'd take that $100 to $1,000 and just pocket it and run away. And at the end of the day, have you stopped some percentage of really, really low effort bad video games from getting on Steam? Maybe. But how many gems and diamonds in the rough also have you stopped? It just doesn't feel like it's a good deterrent. Can I do this? This?
Welcome to the Grand Tournament, champion.
And ooh, that was the wrong card, obviously. Dude. So now we got 2/2, and let's see if I can get in there.
Here we go.
Do I want to kill this guy? Let's go ahead and kill him. Go ahead and kill that guy too. So yeah, already before Steam Direct is even set into place, it's being gamed and countered. And there's really no way Steam could enforce or investigate people getting money for those entrances in some other fashion or way. Yeah, I've won here. In case, since I'm not really paying too much attention here, we can do this and then win. Moving on, Bethesda has an E3 presentation this year, which I suppose means to expect big things, but is it? Bethesda's kind of changed in my mind, at least, if not in reality. Like, Bethesda now has Doom, Bethesda has Dishonored, and, well, they published Dishonored, but I think I might as well say they have it. They have Skyrim, they have Fallout 4. I don't... they have the Elder Scrolls Online. They have the cell phone app, Fallout Shelter. And it's just a bigger, wider, more varied game lineup for Bethesda than I think they used to have. So any one of those could get a sequel. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a Elder Scrolls sequel game, but if that's the case, then they're throwing Elder Scrolls Online under the bus for sure.
Bring out your dead.
And in fact, if they announce anything other than a new IP, new intellectual property, they're throwing their previous game under the bus. Unless they just want to show a little bit of footage of Doom 2, which, if Doom is going to be this annualized thing, I don't know. So, maybe they could show some footage of Doom 2. Maybe they could announce DLC for Fallout 4. Maybe they could do something big with Elder Scrolls Online, but I mean, if they announce Elder Scrolls 5, Elder Scrolls 6, the sequel to Skyrim, they'd have to just show a little bit of footage, and maybe that's what they're doing. And there's some weirdness in all of this because, like, Bethesda really doesn't want to do preview game copies and things, and wants to just get as many people to pre-order as possible, and if it turns out to be a bad game, who cares? We got your money already. So I guess the E3 press conference could be, it definitely would be focused around generating hype. Unquestionably. Let's see, we'll do this one, and this one, and then attack here. So, we have a couple of Overwatch news. I don't talk too much about Overwatch. It's because it's this multiplayer game that I'm just never gonna have the setup as far as skill or teammates to play. I'm never gonna really do anything, not unless they put like a single player adventure mode in it, and it starts to make sense to spend money on it. But Overwatch was the most watched Twitch game for 2016, and in that Total Biscuit roundtable conversation discussing potentially what Steam Direct is going to be, an interesting opinion / fact came out saying that people who play games on Twitch actually don't increase the sales at all. Not a bit. Not even the top most watched streamers on Twitch. And the assumption is, because people who are playing on Twitch are not being critics and not talking about the game and not adding any information to it. So when people watch people play games on Twitch, all they're seeing is somebody playing the game, and that's the generous way to say it. I could go mean and say all they're seeing is somebody smoking a vape cigarette, and listening to copyrighted music in the background, and chatting with the audience, and maybe also the person that's the Twitch streamer is a particularly attractive lady with a low cut top. If I'm gonna be really mean, not just throw all the stereotypes in there.
Golems are a girl's best friend.
Let's see.
Here we go.
Should I kill one of these, or should I just wait? So yeah, it seems like Twitch streamers don't help sales on games, which certainly, I guess I haven't ever thought about it, but it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Apparently, however, talking about video games on YouTube has a little bit of an effect, but not a great. And putting links in the description of YouTube videos has a insignificantly small effect, because nobody clicks to look at the bottom of the descriptions to click the links, which probably tells me that the game links that are definitely below the fold on my videos are not getting clicked on. I don't put bit.ly or anything on them, so I don't have any metric there. The only thing would be if I talked about a game and then the actual developer said, hey, I got a bunch more sales, and I think it's because of your footage, and that would be very weird, because it's highly unlikely that would ever be the case. How did I get a 3/3 golem? Do jade golems just get larger and larger? Is that what happens? I don't know. That's in the turn. The other thing we can talk about Overwatch is, besides the fact that it was the most watched thing, apparently an artist made some covers of Overwatch as if they were covers of a Playboy magazine. So, the Overwatch girls in bikinis on the covers, they not really that extreme or explicit, and Playboy itself hasn't been extreme or explicit lately. Anyways, they've gotten rid of all the nude photo shoots, I believe, at this point, and they just have the articles. And then somebody decided to take that parody to the next step, and they made an online magazine of actual Playboy things, where with actual articles and a bunch of bunch of jokes. So apparently there was an article with an interview with Bastion, and I assume Bastion is a character that's robotic, and so the whole conversation is just in beeps and boops.
For master.
And we'll kill this guy and attack. So unfortunately that got DMCA'd, and that's kind of just continuation of what they were doing before. The creators of this game, that is Activision Blizzard. So how did he get 2 of those summoned and resummon the minion? Ooh. Choose a friendly minion with death rattle. So yeah, that, like, they had already stopped and DMCA'd somebody who made an animation using the Overwatch assets. I think at this point they probably took it a slightly step further, and if anybody could afford a lawyer and you could actually win a court case, which I'm not sure you can on copyright court cases at all in the United States. I just don't think the system's fair. And I suppose my assumption that the system's not fair is also what keeps me and a lot of other people from not actually trying.
Pick a card.
Here we go.
Here we go. So, but I mean, that was clearly a parody, and unless there were specific elements taken from actual assets, they are parodying the likeness. So it should have probably been fought in courts. Let's play another game here. I need to speed up because I am certainly not going a 4th recording. DEFCON VR has been made, and it doesn't really work well. Like so many other VR games, it's got an interface that just looks bad. And DEFCON is a very old game that had pretty low graphics in the first place. This VR version of it doesn't have the greatest graphics either. Introvision, the creators of DEFCON, have made several games, but none of them have ever particularly been very good looking, and they never really were bothering to make them look good looking. So for all of that, I think they probably wasted their time even making a VR version of it. It seems like probably what happened there was Introversion was looking into making a VR game, and this was their experimental thing. So there's this. Now, I didn't really read this article, so take this with a huge grain of salt, but apparently there's no budgeting involved at Valve. No budgeting at all in Valve as far as games. Would not be surprised if that's the truth. Like, I mean, that makes kind of all the sense in the world that they just let people work on games for as long as they want and pay them, and as long as Steam makes them enough money so to pay the paychecks of these people, they can sit around and not have to do anything. And inherently, it's not like I want to see. It's not like I would want to see video game makers have to struggle to keep a budget balanced. But I also kind of feel like it's just more of an example of the lunatics are running the asylum there. Nobody's under any control. No games ever get made because nobody ever demands anything from them. And that's just not good mentally and career-wise for the employees. Honestly, I if I was working at another video game company and I saw somebody had worked at Valve, I'd have to have some questions with them. I'd have to say, well, you know, I know people at Valve just worked on whatever they wanted and they never had to stay within a schedule or stay within a budget. Here at my video game company, we're actually trying to make games and make a profit, so you do have to stay within the schedule and the budget. How can you prove to me with your previous experience you can do that? Yeah, how do you make that argument? You can't.
I wonder.
Moving on, a new Watch Dogs 2 ending was patched into the game, hinting that it's going to be Watch Dogs 3 will be set in a more international location, not in the United States, which, okay, whatever.
I wonder.
As long as they don't make Watch Dogs 3 some blatant Assassin's Creed ripoff set in a city that has already been done, that's fine. They're gonna get called out heavily if they do any area, even in a modern setting, that has been covered by any Assassin's Creed game, because that's how Watch Dogs was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the future version of Assassin's Creed, and it started to move in its own direction and possibly work a little bit better. Maybe at some point we will see them even decide to just fully abandon the Assassin's Creed series. But I don't think we're getting a new one this year. But if they don't announce something for next year, it is going to be an issue. Also, final thing, a Crash Bandicoot remake for the first 3 games, which is not all of the original games, but the first 3, is coming out for PS4. Now, it would be really nice if Crash Bandicoot came out for PC on the remake, but I think I probably won't hold my breath on that. I think that's asking too much. If it does come out, that would be a nice game for me to cover. I've never played any of the Crash Bandicoot series, and it might be very interesting, although the gameplay is kind of weird, platforming, running away from the screen, and jumping stuff, at least in some parts. But any new platformer game, I'll be happy to give at least a try. So I'd like to see it come. Well, that's it for everything I wrote down. There were a few more things to talk about, but I'll save them for the next recording session. We'll probably hit a dry spell of news. We got all the quests done, and it's 1:09 a.m. So I guess now I can either go on and record some more, which I don't think I'll do, or just go to sleep. which would actually be rather early for me because I usually go to sleep at 4 in the morning, which is ridiculous. That's what I've been doing lately. 4 in the morning. And it looks like my boogie board has finally decided to break. Because now a section is not erasing. Maybe I can just hit the button a bunch of times. Maybe my battery's going... Yep, there it worked. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me out. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.